Bud Light, please.
Tonight's ladies' night, and there's a special on Bud Light.
Oh, really?
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Oh no, it's Ted from accounting.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the recording, and we've got our Bud Light update of the day. Boy, if it weren't for Bud Light, man, obviously the Trump thing was interesting last night. I covered that in my first video, but I was probably the last person to do it. The Bud Light stuff continues to rage on as their stock continues to fall, although today it's a little more muted. It may have come up. Let's look at where we're at today. It's down 1% today. At one point, it looked like it was down, 0.5%. At one point, it looks like it was down 1%, but it's down. But over the last 5 days, it's down 4% and falling. And the former marketing guru who used to work for Budweiser has now spoken out saying, marketing guru behind Budweiser's iconic "What's Up" and Talking Frogs commercials said Anheuser-Busch has destroyed 20 years of work in 1 week with the Dylan debacle. Well, who could disagree? I mean, the brand is an absolute joke. Would the "What's Up" stuff work the same right now? Probably not. But it's interesting to see exactly how other marketers view this. I mean, I have a master's degree in marketing, and I had a marketing agency. I worked for a marketing agency, but we never ran TV commercials. We ran text ads and things like that. So my expertise is not anywhere near this. But the marketing genius behind some of Budweiser's most iconic ads slammed his former employer for destroying the image he helped create. Robert Latchkey, who created the memorable "Was Up" promo of 1999 and the Talking Frogs commercial that debuted at the Super Bowl 5 years earlier, said it took him 2 decades to establish Budweiser as one of America's most prominent beers. But he said that all came crashing down last month when TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney, 26, announced they were partnering with Bud Light and showed off cans featuring their face. But he said that, now sales of the light beer are down in nearly every region of the United States, while some of them as high as 26%. It took us 20 years to take Bud Light beer to the #1 beer in the country, and it took them 1 week to dismantle it, Latchkey said of InBev's Budweiser's Belgian parent company. During Latchkey's time at Anheuser-Busch, he created many of Budweiser's Super Bowl ad campaigns in the 90s and 2000s. One of the ones he created, in which the 3 frogs croaked Bud, Wise, and was dubbed one of the most iconic alcohol campaigns in advertising history. And another featuring a group of friends calling each other while sitting at their respective homes, watching television and drinking Budweiser, in which they ask each other, "What's up?" helped define the late 90s and 2000s. I remember that. I was probably in middle school, high school era, and all my friends were doing that. It was as popular as saying "alrighty then." It was a cultural phenomenon. Latchkey also served as Bud Light's brand manager, creating advertisements like the "I Love You Man" commercial in 1995 and "Real Men of Genius" campaigns. Wow, this guy, those two were also iconic. The "Real Man of Genius." Under his tenure, Bud Light surpassed Miller Lite as a top-selling beer in the country. He left Anheuser-Busch back in 2009, just 4 months after InBev acquired the company and began implementing aggressive cost-cutting measures, including several rounds of layoff, though Latchkey says it was his own decision to leave. Now Latchkey, who runs his own consulting firm in St. Louis, says the company only has itself to blame for its plummeting sales. It's self-inflicted, he said to the St. Louis Dispatch, claiming Anheuser-Busch suffers from a complete lack of corporate oversight, and it's been that way since InBev took over the company. Well, he would probably know, right? Executives at the company have tried to claim that Mulvaney was never actually partnered with Bud Light, despite the trans TikTok star saying otherwise in their early April video, and even included the hashtag Bud Light partner. On Monday, Anheuser-Busch Global CEO Michael Moron blamed, quote, misinformation and disinformation that was spread online for making people believe cans with Mulvaney's face were being rolled out for sales across the United States. You know what's weird about that? Did anybody actually believe that? Like, I never thought that. Like, I literally never thought that they were going to be selling those cans. I never even saw a single video saying that, like any of the other commentators who are talking about this. Obviously, he said, we never intended to make it for general production or for sales to the public. All this tells me, quite frankly, is the person is completely out of touch. Like, he has no idea why people are actually mad. He thinks they're just mad because they were going to put their face on a can. That's just not true. That's simply not true. We need to clarify the facts. This was one camp, one influencer, one post, not a campaign. And again, nobody cares. I mean, it's just this isn't what the point is. In reality, the Bud Light can posted by social media influencer that sparked all the conversation was provided by an outside agency, by the way, who has been fired, without Anheuser-Busch management awareness or approval. Well, that's Anheuser-Busch's problem, isn't it? They're supposed to be the ones that manage that stuff. They're supposed to be the ones that take care of that stuff. The fact that they didn't have oversight, the fact that they didn't manage that is their own fault. You can't pass the buck. The buck stops with you when you're the leader. The company had previously announced that Vice President of Marketing, Alyssa Heinerscheid, took a leave of absence, and the Vice President for the mainstream brand, Daniel Blake, stepped down from his post amid backlash for the campaign. The firm said both bosses, quote, decided to temporarily step down, but their decisions were reportedly not voluntary. Given the circumstances, Alyssa has decided to take a leave of absence, which we support. Daniel has also decided to take a leave of absence. They have lost billions of dollars. Somebody had to be responsible for these things. Somebody has to be responsible for it. Then the former marketer spoke about their response to it. Quote, it's pretty obvious InBev continues to fan the flames of their own on their own with their defensive comments, he told the New York Post. Almost immediately after Dylan posted the video in early April, Anheuser-Busch lost more than $6 billion in market capitalization. In total, sales fell 26% in the second quarter of 2023, and the CEO announced in an earnings call last week. Still, sales volume of all Anheuser-Busch products fell more than 12% last month, with Bud Light sales falling a staggering 21.4%. That decline in Bud Light sales could be felt in every region of the country, according to new data from Beer Business Daily. Sales in the Rocky Mountain state dipped the most significantly, down by 29%, with the South Atlantic and West Northeast all dropping about 25%. The Tumbleweed, a cowboy bar in Wyoming, ditched Bud Light entirely after the controversy, instead plumbing for Guinness. Sales in so people, you have entire bars who drop the whole product line. You see, now analysts at HSBC have downgraded Anheuser-Busch's stock, saying it is in the midst of a crisis over a marketing blunder. Carlos Laboy, a managing director at HSBC's global beverage sector, downgraded the stock of Anheuser-Busch InBev to a hold status. It means that investors should not buy or sell the shares of the company. Well, that act of itself made the stock dip strong yesterday. He said that the backlash is a sign that there are deeper problems than ABI admits, questioning if it is hiring the best people to grow the brands and gauge risk. The interview this person individually did was with the New York Post, and this dude pretty much understood what the customer base wanted, and probably took it personal when the brand called his commercials and the brand that he had helped build and his team, I assume, fratty and out of touch. These ads, the I love you man and all this kind of stuff, that worked. That was, ultimately, if you look at some of the comments here, InBev is just going to have to say they're sorry for aligning with a spokesperson that does not reflect their values of their customers and InBev. Anything less, and they're done for. Disney's also facing a much quieter boycott. Parks are down, and all the Disney movies lately have flopped. Well, the parks aren't down, to be fair, but the movies are flopping. And by Disney standards, some of them are still making money, but they have more misses than hits lately. And the only way out of this is really to make a statement to say, hey, we screwed up legitimately. We acknowledge this. This is how we messed up. This is how we've moved to fix it. I mean, they've already done kind of what they need to do to fix it by firing people and making changes inside the company. All that's missing now is the public acknowledgement that they hired somebody that does not align with their customers' values and that they're sorry. The problem is that's a poison pill, because if they do that, suddenly you'll see their stock get downgraded to a sell. Suddenly you'll see they won't have their woke ESG score. They won't have the backing of the World Economic Forum, and they won't have the backing of hedge funds. So they are truly in a danged if you do and danged if you don't situation. And all of this could have been avoided if they just didn't get woke. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, and we'll talk to you again real soon.